Hi. So here we are, the day after the VE Day celebrations, where the other topic on many people's lips was, what will Boris say on Sunday? VE Day, the 75th anniversary, an event that should have been marked with as much pageantry and solemn thankfulness and joyous celebration as possible, with local parades and televised events and fairs and parties and services. But COVID-19 sought to rein on that, except it couldn't. Instead of the national and civic events, we have had hundreds and hundreds of socially distant street parties, which, let's be honest, wouldn't have been entered into by so many with such creativity and gusto as they were yesterday had we not had the pandemic. It was an event 75 years ago when the nation, locked down in war, was told, we may allow ourselves a brief period of rejoicing, but let us not forget for a moment the toil and efforts that lie ahead. And tomorrow, our locked down nation will be told something not dissimilar, I would guess. There is an easing, but still a long way to go. There's been such big speculation. Will it be back to work? Unlikely. Boris, his cabinet and the media have been playing a game with each other all week, leaking this, teasing the other in Parliament, and then suggesting maximum caution. The papers suggest it will simply be play parks or garden centres reopening to begin with, maybe infant schools, juniors, then all schools, then this, that and the other, with cafes, pubs and gyms last. While others speak of liberation from the tyranny of lockdown. Ridiculous rhetoric to employ, in my opinion. But we will see what happens. Let's be honest. The amount of traffic on our roads over the last 2 weeks indicates that many in the country have already made their own decisions regardless of what the government may or may not announce, with the outspoken Wetherspoon boss even going on record as saying his pubs were planning to reopen in or around June. So what do I make of all this? Well, lots of things, but today I'd like to focus simply on pressure. There is pressure being felt all over the place. The competing pressure on the government to reopen business, to unlock the country, restart the economy, and yet to protect us from further unnecessary loss of life. And the continual pressure in leadership to be seen to be doing something new, when sometimes the right course of action is simply to continue as is. Then there is the pressure on us in our homes to stay in and stay safe, protect the NHS, save lives. Some have done this really well. Some I've seen have seemingly never even tried. They've stood outside and applauded our key workers every Thursday and then gone back to having friends and workers visiting their home on a daily basis, which increases the pressure on those who are trying to stay in, to want to venture out. Anyone who has owned a pressure cooker will know that pressure has a habit of leaking out. I remember as a child once lifting the weights off the valve on my mum's pressure cooker. I won't do that again. It was like I'd stood on the tail of a very cheesed off dragon. Pressure alters who we are. It affects our heads, our hearts, our desires, even our bowels. We become grumpy or permanently tired, or we can't sleep, or we eat and drink more. Our blood pressure goes up, we become flushed, we think odd thoughts, our imagination becomes distorted. One person told me how they'd had a recurring dream of standing in an isolated field or hillside where no one could see or hear them and screaming as hard as they could. Pressure. We are confined to our homes, and with it we confine our very selves. So here's the thing. Regardless of what is said or not said on Sunday, regardless of what is understood or misunderstood on Sunday, regardless of what the papers and TV run for the following week as they string it out for sales and views, how can you and I release that pressure, even just a little? How can we crack open the lid on that plastic fizzy drink bottle and let it hiss out without fizzing out all over the place? How can we put a thumbnail to the valve in a car tyre without it going completely flat? How can we let a little air out of the balloon without letting it go and it raspberrying itself around the room and ending up a heap in the corner? Okay, I think you get the idea. And what might faith have to offer this question? We read in Philippians chapter 4, "Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about or take account of these things." Yesterday, I was asked by someone who has been watching these videos if I would record a few minutes of birdsong from my garden. So early this morning, before the traffic increased, I did that, standing stock still, recording and just listening, really listening. It was stunning. Whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing. Think about these things. Maybe you have a favourite piece of music or a novel, maybe some photos or a letter, a film or a piece of craft work. Whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is pure, pleasing, commendable. Think about these things. Maybe there is a place you can visit in your home that transports you. A comforting chair, a window view, a collection of photos, a spot in the garden. Whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable. These things, these places, these experiences may enable us to release that pressure somewhat. But maybe we can also limit the build-up of pressure. Maybe visit Facebook only once a day. Listen or watch or visit news sites just once a day. Or every other day, to make space for the true, the honourable, the just, the pure, the pleasing and commendable. Let us think about and take account of these things. In our dealings with ourselves and with one another today, may we seek to be excellent and praiseworthy. As always, stay safe, live love.